I'm sitting in Marcus's office, my office now, and I can't stop looking at the empty desk across the hall where Sarah used to sit. 3 months, that's how long it took for everything to fall apart after I got what I wanted. Let me back up. Sarah and I started at Meridian Tech the same week, 5 years ago. We were both junior analysts, both hungry, both convinced we were going to climb fast. We became work friends, then actual friends. She was at my apartment every weekend. I was the maid of honor at her wedding. When her mom died last year, I was the one who covered her shifts and brought her coffee at the funeral. I'm telling you this so you understand I knew her. I really knew her. We were both up for the same promotion, Senior Director of Product Strategy. Only one position. We both knew it would come down to the Q4 presentation to the executive board. Whoever delivered the better vision would get it. Sarah had been working on her presentation for 2 months. She'd talk about it over lunch, excited, nervous. She'd built this entire framework for predictive user analytics that was honestly brilliant. She'd stay late every night refining it, testing scenarios, building models. I was working on mine too, but if I'm being honest, hers was better, cleaner, more innovative. Mine was solid but safe, the kind of thing that gets you a good job and a pat on the back, not a promotion. The night before the presentation, Sarah asked me to look over her slides one last time. We were at her place. She ordered Thai food. She was so nervous she could barely eat. Just tell me if anything seems unclear, she said, pulling up her laptop. I watched her presentation, every slide, every data point, every innovative idea that I knew would blow the executives away. And that's when it hit me. I could have this. All of it. She left the room to take a call from her husband. Her laptop was still open. Her presentation file was right there, already loaded on a shared drive she'd given me access to weeks ago for a different project. I told myself I was just going to look at her sourcing, see what data sets she was pulling from, but my hands were already moving. I opened the file properties, found the backup folder path, navigated to it, and I copied everything. Not to steal it directly, I'm not that stupid, but to adapt it, use her framework, her data model, her research. I'd change enough to make it look different, but the bones would be hers. Sarah came back into the room smiling. Sorry about that. Okay, what do you think? It's amazing, I told her, and I meant it. You're definitely getting this. She hugged me, actually hugged me. God, I'm so glad we're both going for it, you know. No matter who gets it, at least we had each other through this. I hugged her back and said nothing. I stayed up all night rebuilding my presentation. I told myself I was just inspired by her work, that I was using her ideas as a jumping-off point, that this how innovation works, building on what others have done. But I knew what I was doing. The presentations were scheduled back to back. Sarah went first. She was phenomenal. The executives were nodding, taking notes, asking follow-up questions. When she finished, the VP actually said, "Impressive work," out loud. Then it was my turn. I walked them through me framework, meet predictive analytics model, meet vision for the product roadmap. I'd changed the slide design, reworded the explanations, added a few minor tweaks. But anyone who'd seen both presentations would know. The room was quiet when I finished. Then Marcus leaned forward. "This is remarkably similar to what Sarah just presented," he said. My heart stopped. "Great minds think alike," I said, forcing a laugh. "We've been working in the same ecosystem, pulling from the same data pools, convergent evolution of ideas." I saw Sarah's face. She wasn't smiling anymore. Marcus looked between us. Indeed, the meeting ended. Sarah caught up with me in the hallway. "Did you?" she started, then stopped. "No, you wouldn't. We're friends, Sarah, come on. We've been working on the same problem for months. Of course there's going to be overlap. Her voice cracked. That was my exact framework, my data model, even the terminology I invented for the user behavior segments. "I think you're being paranoid. You were at my house last night. You saw my presentation. Other people were starting to look." I lowered my voice. "I'm sorry you feel that way," I said. "But I worked really hard on my presentation and I'm not going to let you diminish that, but you're upset we came up with similar ideas." I watched her face change. That's the moment she knew. Really knew. "Wow," she whispered. "Okay." She walked away. I got the promotion 2 days later. Marcus called me into his office, shook my hand, told me I'd demonstrated exactly the kind of strategic thinking we need at the director level. I acted surprised, grateful, humble. Sarah sent me a 2-line email. "Congratulations on your promotion. I've requested a transfer to the Seattle office." I told myself she was being dramatic, that she'd get over it, that she would have done the same thing if the roles were reversed. But I knew that last part wasn't true. Sarah wouldn't have done this. That's why I picked her. My first day in the new role, I moved into the director's office. I unpacked my things, I put my nameplate on the desk, and I looked across the hall at Sarah's empty desk, and I felt nothing. I'd won. The first crack appeared 3 weeks later. I was in a strategy meeting with Marcus and the C-suite, walking them through the Q1 roadmap using my framework. The CEO, Jennifer, stopped me mid-sentence. "Walk me through the validation methodology again," she said. "How did you test the predictive accuracy of these user behavior segments?" I froze, because I hadn't tested anything. Sarah had, and I didn't actually understand the methodology deeply enough to explain it. "I can pull up the technical documentation," I started. "No. Just explain it. You built this framework, right?" The room was watching me. I stumbled through an explanation that I could tell, even as the words were leaving my mouth, made no sense. Jennifer's expression didn't change, but she exchanged a glance with Marcus. "Let's table this," said quietly. "Send us the technical docs and we'll revisit next week." After the meeting, Marcus asked me to stay behind. "Are you okay?" he asked. "That wasn't like you." "Just an off day," I said. "I know this framework inside and out." I just blatted slowly. "The technical docs, I'll need those by Friday." I spent 3 days trying to reverse engineer Sarah's methodology from the presentation slides. I couldn't do it. The actual statistical model, the validation protocols, the testing environment, none of that had been in the slides. It had all been in her head. I submitted something on Friday. It was shallow. Marcus knew it. But the real problem started when we tried to implement the framework. Turns out, building a presentation about idea and actually executing that idea are very different things. The framework required custom integrations with our data infrastructure. It needed specific API configurations. There were dependencies I didn't even know existed. The development team kept coming to me with questions I couldn't answer. What's the tolerance threshold for the confidence intervals? How do we handle sparse data in the secondary segments? What's the fallback protocol when the predictive model hits an edge case? I didn't know. I started telling them to use their best judgment and order it based on initial results. They exchanged looks I pretended not to see. 2 months in, the project was behind schedule, way behind. The framework that had looked so elegant in the presentation was turning into a disaster in practice. Marcus started attending our weekly team meetings, just sitting in the back watching. Then the Seattle office CC'd me on an email. It was Sarah's Q1 report. She'd been transferred to a smaller strategic role there, technically a lateral move, but everyone knew it was a demotion. She was working on regional market analysis now, small projects, nothing like what she'd been doing here. But her report was brilliant. Clean insights, innovative approaches, the same quality of thinking that had gone into the framework I'd stolen. Jennifer responded to the thread of Sarah, "This is excellent work. Marcus, let's discuss bringing Sarah back to HQ for the Q2 strategic planning." My stomach dropped. The next week, Marcus called me into his office. "We need to talk about the product strategy roadmap," he said. "It's not coming together the way we'd hoped. The team's still working through some technical challenges." "It's not the team." He leaned back. "I'm going to be direct with you. When you presented this framework, I had concerns about the similarities to Sarah's presentation. But your delivery was confident, and frankly, we needed to make a decision." I said nothing. "But watching you try to execute over the past 2 months, you don't understand this framework at a foundational level. You can't answer basic methodology questions. You can't troubleshoot implementation problems. It's becoming clear that you presented something you didn't actually develop." "That's not." "I pulled the access logs from the shared drive," he said quietly. "The night before the presentations, you accessed Sarah's backup folder. You spent 47 minutes in there. Then you rebuilt your entire presentation between midnight and 6 a.m. The room tilted. We're bringing Sarah back to lead the product strategy initiative." Marcus continued. "You'll be transitioning to a project management role, still a director-level position, but not in strategy. I'm moving you to a role that matches your actual skill set. And Sarah will be your supervisor." I don't remember leaving his office. Sarah came back 2 weeks later. She didn't acknowledge me in the hallway, didn't make eye contact in meetings. She just took over the project, and within 3 weeks, she'd fixed everything I'd broken. She knew every answer to every question. She worked with the dev team like she was speaking their language. Her framework started actually working. I sat in the project meetings and watched her do what I'd pretended I could do. The team's attitude toward me changed. People who used to seek my input now went straight to Sarah. My calendar got emptier. My inbox got quieter. At the company all hands, Jennifer announced Sarah's promotion to Vice President of Product Strategy. Everyone applauded. Sarah gave a speech about innovation and collaboration and building something meaningful. She didn't look at me once. After the meeting, I tried to catch her in the hallway. "Sarah," she stopped but didn't turn around. "I just wanted to say congratulations. You deserve this." She turned then. Her face was completely neutral. "I know I do," she said. That was it. She walked away. "I'm still here, still getting a paycheck, but I'm a project manager now, coordinating timelines and scheduling meetings. The work I do could be done by anyone. My team, Sarah's old team, treats me politely but distantly. They know what I did. Everyone knows." Last week, I saw Marcus and Sarah having lunch in the cafeteria, talking and laughing about something. They looked like mentor and protege, like colleagues who respect each other. I ate alone at my desk. The worst part isn't the demotion. It isn't even the humiliation. It's that I had everything I needed to succeed. I was talented enough, smart enough. I could have built my own framework, done my own work, earned the promotion legitimately. But I was so convinced I wasn't good enough that I destroyed the one person who believed I was. Sarah's not my friend anymore, obviously, but it's more than that. I don't have friends here anymore, period. The people I used to get drinks with after work don't invite me anymore. The Slack channels that used to include me have gone quiet. I destroyed my reputation for a promotion I couldn't even keep. Last month I saw a job posting for my old director-level strategy role. They're hiring externally. I thought about applying, then realized how insane that would be. I'd be applying to Sarah. She'd see my name and remember exactly what I did to get here. Sometimes I check Sarah's LinkedIn. She posts about the framework now, her framework, and how it's transforming our product strategy. She gives talks at conferences. She's being courted by recruiters from bigger companies. She's becoming exactly what she was always going to become. What she earned. And I'm here in my small office with my pointless meetings and my emptying calendar, living with the fact that I traded everything I actually had for something I couldn't keep. I keep thinking about that night in her apartment. The moment before I opened her laptop. If I could go back, would I make a different choice? I want to say yes. I want to believe I'm a person who would make a different choice. But I'm the person who made this one. And now I get to live with that.